G'day guys, Reese Zacker from Spinlight Studio, back with you on the Kiive audio channel, and today we're going to take a look at ways that we can use distortion in our mixes to enhance them and make them a little bit more exciting. So let's dive into this. So I've got a track here that I mixed back in 2013, so it's a bit of an old one, and there's not really that much distortion or saturation in this mix. It's actually pretty clean, and I think there's a couple of ways that we could use distortion to enhance this. So the first place I want to look is on our bass guitar. So let's have a listen to what this sounds like at the moment. So a pretty kind of typical bass sound. It sounds good, but it's not really that exciting. So I think we can change that. So what I want to do first is duplicate this bass track. So in Logic, I'm just going to click on this channel here, hold down Option and drag down. And now we have a duplicate. Now I'm going to label this one Bass Distort. Now on my duplicate channel, I'm going to load up Kiive Audio's Distinct Pro. Okay, so now I'm going to listen to our duplicate track in solo, and I'm going to add some distortion to this and really manipulate this sound until it sounds the way that I want. Now the idea that I have in mind here is to distort the upper mids, enhance those higher frequencies, and help them stand out a little bit more in the mix, and that'll make the bass stand out a little bit more in the mix as well. That sounds kind of cool. Just hyping those upper frequencies. I've got a little bit of a high pass filter going on here as well, just to roll off some of the lows so that we can really focus this duplicate on those high frequencies. Let's have a listen to what this sounds like when we blend it back in with the original bass signal. So really big difference, really helps make that bass stand out. Hear the top end, hear that pick working. That's a really nice addition to that bass sound in my opinion. And especially once all the guitars and everything are back in there, it's just gonna help it poke out a little bit better. So that's one way we can creatively use distortion to enhance a sound. Now let's take a look at another way we can use some distortion in our mix. Now you can use parallel compression on your drums, but you can also use distortion in parallel. It works really well. So we're gonna make a distortion parallel bus that we can blend in with our drums. So now we've got our parallel send here, we've got it distort, and I'm gonna add in distinct. That's pretty cool, it's pretty crunchy. I'm gonna pull some of the cymbals and room sounds out of this send. Concentrate it more on the shells, the kick, the snares, a bit of the toms. Might even pull a little bit of the toms out so they don't get too distorted. You don't want that low end of the toms to get all buzzy sounding. Ooh, that's pretty cool. All right, let's have a listen to this in the mix. Man, it's adding a lot of energy and a lot of life to the snare drum as well. Let's hear it in the mix. That's pretty cool. Definitely adding some hype to the drums in a pretty nice way. Okay, so another fun and creative way that we can use distortion on our drums is if we create a bit of a loop out of our drums, filter it, and then add some distortion to that and make it sound a little bit more interesting. I'll show you what I mean. So I've bounced down our drums in place here. So we've just got a stereo file of our drum beat. Now let's filter this a bit and make it sound a bit more interesting. Yeah, it sounds kind of cool, but we can make it sound more interesting. So let's get distinct on here again, and let's mangle this up a little bit. Just add more character to it. So that's pretty cool, just like a fun way of creating some hype. So let's have a look at the vocals. This can be a really great place to add some distortion, get a cool effect happening. So there's one section here that really could sound awesome with a bit of vocal distortion. So these vocal echoes. So let's kind of grit these up a little bit and get them sounding cool in the mix. Now I'm feeling like the stink's going to be pretty cool on this as well.
The world I run to when I need you.
Sounds kind of cool.
The world I run to when I need you. The world I run to when I need you. The world I run to when I need you.
It's pretty cool. I feel like we could add maybe a bit of a high pass filter afterwards. Just roll off some of these highs. A little boost at 2K, get that megaphone kind of sound happening. Add a touch of echo. Sort of like the missing little touch there, just wet it up a little bit. So I think that's cool, and it sort of separates the vocals out a little bit. If you have like ad-lib vocals or echoes, sometimes distorting them, giving them a different sound really helps create a bit more interest, but also helps make them stand out a bit more from the original vocal. Now overall, I feel like the vocals within this mix could just benefit from a little bit of edgy distortion, maybe just kind of parallel blended in with them, just to give them a little bit more attitude. They're a little bit too clean. So I'm just going to make a send off the vocal, add some distortion to it, and then blend it in. Okay, so we're sending our vocals into this channel here. So for this one, we're going to use the Audioscape Golden 58 tube preamp. This thing can add some nice grit to a vocal. So what I want to do is put this into voice. That kind of just rolls off a little bit of low end out of the signal, just sort of focuses more on the mids, the upper mids. Doesn't let the low end get too mushy when you start driving it. Keep it in auto gain. We're going to switch to mic. This is going to let us drive it a little bit harder, add a bit more grit to it.
Let's take some time to think whether I would give up all I have just to feel alive. I wanna know if it can feel right when this feeling is a blanket we hold at night.
That's pretty cool. I still feel like there's probably too much sort of low end energy within the vocal, but I like what this has added so far. But let's go another step further and let's bring up filk channel. And we're just going to pull some of the low end out of this vocal. Let's use EQ1 to do this. Set the frequency range to 400 Hertz and then hit low shelf and let's pull this down.
Let's take some time to think whether I would give up all I have just to feel alive. I wanna know if it can feel right when this feeling is a blanket we hold at night.
I'm going to pull some of these mids out as well. This is on 1.3K, which seems like a pretty good spot to duck actually.
Let's take some time to think whether I would give up all I have just to feel alive. I wanna know if it can feel right when this feeling is a blanket we hold at.
So it sounded pretty gritty. So let's try and blend this in and see what it sounds like.
Let's take some time to think whether I would give up all I have just to feel alive. I wanna know if it can feel right when this feeling is a blanket we hold at night. I think I'm falling but my feet are on the ground. Try to clear my thoughts from a drowning sound. And when I take the time to look,
it's so much cooler with the distortion. So it was definitely one of those things that I was missing back in my earlier mixes, was applying distortion in cool ways or subtle ways to add edge, to create more excitement within a mix. So using it in parallel like this on a vocal, like I just didn't think to do that, but it sounds so cool. So if I could go back in time, this is definitely something I would apply to this mix.
let's take some time to think whether I would give up all I have just to feel alive. I wanna know if it can feel right when this feeling is a blanket we hold at night. I think I'm falling but my feet are on the ground. Try to clear my thoughts from a drowning sound. And when I take the time to look around and see your face, I know I can let go now.
So you can definitely hear how it's almost added a level of compression to it as well. It's filling out those sort of like dynamic peaks and making it a lot more level, and you can hear every word a lot more clearer. It definitely sounds way better with the saturation added. There's a couple of creative ways that you can apply distortion within your mixes. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, hit that like button and subscribe to Kiive Audio's channel. And if you like the sound of these plugins and you want to give them a try for yourself in a couple of your mixes, there'll be a link in the description below to Kiive Audio's website. Go check them out, give them a try and see what you think. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.
I think I'm falling but my feet are on the ground. Try to clear my thoughts from a drought.